Hey everyone, welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into a topic that is absolutely crucial, affecting literally millions of guys out there, but, well, it's almost always kept totally in the shadows. We are unpacking the deep psychological roots of a hidden struggle, the psychology of sexual anxiety in men. Our goal here isn't just to list off some symptoms. No, we want to truly understand the mechanics of the mind, right? And figure out how we can destigmatize what is, honestly, an incredibly common human experience. Let's get right into it.
So why do so many men suffer in silence? It's a profound question, isn't it? Considering that almost every single man will experience this at some point in his life, it's wild how few of us actually talk about it. This is an issue that strikes right at the core of a guy's confidence, his capacity for real intimacy, and his overall emotional well-being. But because of the heavy stigma attached to male sexual performance, guys just stay quiet. And you know what? That silence, it only amplifies the anxiety. But by bringing this out into the light, we take the power back.
Section 1. The Hidden Burden. Defining the Unspoken Struggle.
To really wrap our heads around this, we need to ground our explainer in a crystal clear definition. So what exactly is sexual anxiety? It's defined as the persistent worry or fear around sexual performance, sexual satisfaction, or physical image. And here's the vital thing to understand: this does not discriminate. It strikes men of all ages. Plus, it isn't just something that pops up in the heat of the moment. This kind of persistent worry can show up long before intimacy even begins, it can happen during the act itself, or it can just linger as this intense overthinking long after the sex is over.
So how does this actually show up in real life? Well, common symptoms include an intense fear of premature ejaculation or erectile dysfunction. It also looks like overthinking sexual performance, being completely stuck in your own head instead of actually being in the moment with your partner. Sometimes it leads to avoiding sexual activity altogether just to escape the stress, which ultimately results in deeply low confidence during intimacy. And I really want to stress this point. These are incredibly common manifestations. They are documented psychological symptoms. They are absolutely not personal failures.
Moving on to Section 2, the mental minefield, 5 psychological roots.
So, where does all this come from? Well, the first major psychological root is performance pressure. Let's be real. Society deeply, and frankly unfairly, links the very concept of masculinity directly to sexual performance. Men get these messages, both subtle and super overt, that they need to perform flawlessly, every single time. And that creates an immense, heavy pressure. It literally turns a natural act of intimate connection into this high-stakes test. When sex feels like a pass-or-fail exam, a profound fear of failure is naturally going to take over.
And this brilliantly illustrates the dual battleground happening inside the mind. A lot of times, guys are fighting on 2 fronts. On one side, you've got external pressures. This is the fear of judgment, worrying intensely about what a partner thinks of your physical appearance, your technique, or your stamina. But then, on the exact same token, you have internal insecurities on the other side, battling low self-esteem, feeling insecure about your own body. It's this potent, exhausting combination of worrying about what the other person thinks while simultaneously fighting your own inner critic.
The third psychological root involves negative past experiences. Think about it. Our brains are literally hardwired to protect us from pain, right? And that includes emotional pain and embarrassment. So if a guy has had previous embarrassing or traumatized sexual experiences, the brain flags those memories. When he steps into a new intimate moment, the brain fires off a warning signal. It's trying to protect him from repeating that past embarrassment. But unfortunately, this well-meaning defense mechanism just unleashes a flood of anxiety in the present moment.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the role of emotion. Emotional disconnect is a massive factor. When there is a lack of true emotional connection between partners, sex can start to feel highly mechanical. It becomes this routine or a performance rather than a shared, connected experience. Without that emotional anchor to ground the whole thing in safety and trust, sex becomes purely about physical mechanics. And man, that is a massive breeding ground for performance anxiety.
Which brings us to Section 3, the mind-body short circuit, how worry sabotages the physical.
So the crucial point is understanding how mental worry actively sabotages the physical body. It all comes down to the stress response. See, your brain literally treats the fear of sexual performance the exact same way it treats a physical threat. It's like you're running from a bear. It sounds the alarm, it floods your entire system with stress hormones, and your body prepares to either fight for its life or run away, which, as you can guess, is the exact opposite physical state you need for physical intimacy.
Because of that intense fight-or-flight activation, we see very specific physical effects. The stress response actively interferes with erections. It straight up decreases overall arousal, it increases muscle tension, which makes it incredibly hard to relax, and it makes orgasm control much, much more difficult. I want to strongly validate this for anyone watching. Erectile and arousal issues in these moments are a natural, predictable, biological reaction to stress. Your body is just doing what it's programmed to do under threat. It absolutely does not mean you have a broken body.
All right, Section 4, Reclaiming Intimacy, Strategies to Overcome Anxiety.
Let's move to and see how this builds a really clear roadmap to recovery. It all starts with practicing mindfulness, just to anchor yourself in the present physical sensations. By staying present, you can then begin to actively challenge those catastrophic negative thoughts with much more realistic, positive beliefs. From there, you slowly rebuild that confidence through small, low-pressure intimate moments. And above all else, communicate openly with your partner. Taking the secret out of the shadows literally strips it of its power. Finally, never hesitate to use therapeutic tools or seek professional support to guide you through the whole process.
I want to read this quote directly from the source material because honestly, it hits the nail right on the head. Millions of men experience sexual anxiety. By understanding the psychology of sexual anxiety in men, you can begin to reclaim your confidence, improve your relationships, and enjoy a more satisfying sex life. I mean, that brings such a profound sense of normalization and hope. If you're watching this explainer and relating to it, you really need to internalize this. You are absolutely not alone in this fight. A path forward totally exists.
So, I'll leave you with this. Are you ready to reclaim your confidence and intimacy? Understanding the mechanics of your mind is that crucial first step, but taking action is the second. Armed with this knowledge of exactly why sexual anxiety happens and the tools you have to dismantle it, you have the absolute power to rewrite your experience. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I highly encourage you to take that first empowering step today.